UFC 284 is almost here, and Alexander Volkanovski is going to be an invading champion going for the lightweight belt with Islam Makhachev. Mark, do you think if Volk can beat Islam, does that make him the greatest of all time?
The greatest of all time chat is a very, very, very tough one, isn't it? Because
Tricky
there's
one,
different
isn't it?
times, different divisions, all that kind of thing. Right now, it could be considered that for right now. But again, it's a tough one. I mean, one thing that I do know is that if Volk can get it done, there will be street parties in Australia for about a month.
Oh, well, let me reword the question then. If Volk can beat Islam, do you think that makes him the best double champ of all time? Because say if you take someone like Conor, for example, when he fought Adi Alvarez, he wasn't at a physical weight advantage. You know, in all honesty, Conor kind of physically fit more into lightweight than he did featherweight, whereas Volk is very much a very natural featherweight. So he's going to move up a division and really a division uphill. You know, it's a real uphill battle for him, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he could be considered the best double champ ever because against Conor, Volk's actually defended his belt.
Yeah.
And against, like DC, DC got awarded the belt, didn't he? Didn't beat the champion, Jones, sadly. But, and against, compared to the others, I think Volk's got the best claim to get that throne. If he can get it done, though, I mean, if Volk can come out and imagine if he finishes Islam.
Oh my
that'd
God.
be crazy. I don't agree with DC when he was saying that if Volk can beat Islam, it'll be the biggest shock in UFC history. You're like, what are you talking about, DC?
Yeah.
He's the champion. He's the dominating champion. It's not that out of the realms of reality, is it?
Yeah. Well, DC's the biggest Islam rider ever, isn't he? Anyway, so, it's so difficult to actually listen to what he's saying when he talks about Islam, and I think it will be a big upset. I don't think it's the biggest upset of all time or anything like that, but it will be a shock because I think, poor Volk, he does, it is a real uphill battle. Like we've said, it's really difficult for him. And I really do hope he can get it done just because I think it's such a fun story, isn't it? If, I know it's a bit lame to talk about, like, if they made a movie of Volk, like, that'd be such a crowning moment, wouldn't it? That's a huge part of his career, and really build his legacy. But what's interesting for me is if Volk does beat Islam, he's got his number one contender fight on the same card for his featherweight belt. Who does he defend his lightweight belt against? And do you think he can successfully transfer up and down two weight divisions? Because I don't think any double champion, has defended the lower belt yet, ever, apart from Amanda Nunes.
Well, I think, again, we can't forget about Nunes, can't discredit her. She's a great champion as well. But yeah, with Volk, well, he said this, I think it was after the Korean Zombie fight, where he said, if people aren't willing to step up and give me competition, use an expletive, I'm going up. I'll keep both divisions busy, which obviously is a very, very tough challenge because the lightweight division is on fire and it has been for a long time. And obviously that'll mean less title contention, I guess, and you'll have another interim belt in the lightweight division as well as the featherweight division. But if he does, let's say, just for example, if Volk wins and if Josh Emmett beats Rodriguez, for example, does that mean that he's going to have to go back down and defend his featherweight straight away? Like you say, it's keeping two divisions busy as well. And I think we'll get less of Volk as fight fans. Selfishly, you want to see him, I wouldn't mind seeing him every bloody month if that was possible, but it's not. But in the sense of he'll come back down, fight Josh Emmett, and then what is it? Does he just swap and change? Because both divisions are going to be getting busy, and especially lightweight, like we've said before, any one of the top 10, you could pluck them out and just throw them into a number one title contention shot, and anything can happen. Yeah. So do we keep that same energy? Because featherweight, you look at that and you think, well, Volk's beat all contenders apart from these two. So it does make sense. It could go down, finish them off, put the final nail in the featherweight coffin, and then go keep lightweight busy. Is that what happens?
Yeah, well, it really could, couldn't it? And I think you're right. I think if Volk does win, we will see less of him. He'll probably, if he is planning to defend both belts at the same time, he'd have to have big periods in between, probably fight every 6 months, maybe a little bit more, maybe 7 months, and swap between each one. Because, he'll want to build muscle for the lightweight fight, and then he'll want to drop it so that he can make weight for featherweight. Because when you see Volk come out and weigh in at 145, he looks very gone, very depleted. Even when he weighed in for 155 for the backup for Islam versus Oliveira, he still looked really gone. You know, it was really, it looked difficult for him. So even then, I think it's going to be really hard for him to swap divisions. I think that's the reason why we see very few double champs defend the title in both weight divisions. But Mike, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but say if Volk does win, who would you like to see his first defense against in the lightweight division?
In the lightweight division? Yeah, it is a tough one. You have put me on the spot. You're right. I'm not so sure. To be honest, I'd like to see him against a striker as opposed to, because, if we've seen him tackle Makhachev, someone who's extremely grapple heavy, the Sambo style sort of thing, I'd like, as a selfish, greedy fan, I'd like to see him have a stand and bang with someone else. Maybe even Poirier, someone like that, Dustin. That'd be a great fight to go see him do that. I don't know. That is a tough one, but I'm not sure if he does get this done against Islam. I'm not sure if his first title defense will be a lightweight title. It might be featherweight to go and, like I said, put the nail in the coffin of I am the featherweight king. If he does beat Yair or Emmett, he's got to be the greatest featherweight ever, I think.
Yeah, definitely. He is, isn't he? But we talk about all the featherweights and stuff, and it's a really funny, wasn't it? Because people talk about, Jose Aldo's the best featherweight of all time, but he's lost to every other champion. And, even though it's not going to happen, I'd actually really like to see Volk versus Conor at lightweight, ironically, to decide who's the best featherweight. Does that make sense? Like, I know that sounds ridiculous, but to see them two fight each other and go, right, who is definitively the best featherweight, even though it'd be at lightweight. But I don't think Conor would be able to string enough wins to even get that title shot. But another fight, and again, all the people I want to see him fight don't deserve title shots. Michael Chandler. But I always want to see Michael Chandler fight. But I think they're similar sort of heights, similar frames. That'd be a banger and a half. But I think they'd be too respectful to each other in the promo leading up to it. It'd be like two best buds having a scrap.
Well, that's the thing. And the thing with Volk is, you get the fans, we've spoke about this before, where they say, well, Max beat him twice. You're like, no, he didn't, though. I think my actual words were, no, he didn't, though, did he, you dick? It's just, you can't use your personal opinion and implement that as if that goes in the officials' records, the official scoreboards, what the fight outcome was. He beat him 3 times, what many people considered to be the best featherweight ever, Max Holloway. It was on a ridiculous run. Volk beat him 3 times. A trilogy, where it's 3-0. I remember it happening with Tito Ortiz and Ken Shamrock as well, but it's very rare that you get to that stage. But that's a different story, Tyler, with Max, because we've spoke about where does he go. But with Volk, if he beats Yair or Emmett, I don't know if there's much reason for him to go back down there. No. He could just conquer lightweight after that. And then eventually, right, I've done it now. Who's he going to beat? Arnold Allen, maybe? There's a couple of contenders there, but that's about it. And after that, he's got new sights in his visions, hasn't he? The lightweight division. Not sure how he'd fare in total with the lightweight division, but this one's a massive test for him.
Yeah, I think the lightweight division is very, very difficult for Volk just because he is slightly undersized and it's a very grapple-heavy division. They're all good grapplers, they're all good strikers. It's very well-rounded. But you feel like if Volk doesn't go back to featherweight, he goes, right, I've had enough of this now. Do you think that kind of leaves the featherweight division kind of dead in the water? Because it feels like Holloway would just spring right back up, probably become champion again. But then we'll have that looming over. Well, that guy in the division above has beat you 3 times now. And it'll kind of feel like he's a paper champion. Do you feel like that'll kind of negate the championship and undermine the whole division?
Yeah, I do. It's a bit like the same effect when John Jones left light heavyweight and he vacated the belt. And you think, the actual champion could come back and take it anytime he wanted. The good thing about Volk is that he doesn't seem, if this makes any sense whatsoever, fickle in the sense of he's just going to be endeavoring into other things, maybe in the future. But right now, he's more bothered legacy, establishing that he is there for a purpose. You know, he's a busy champion as well. And he'll be even busier if he does get this second belt. But it doesn't feel like Volk's going to be, you know, having negotiations like Ngannou was and all this and kind of holding them divisions up. He just seems like a workhorse going for it. You know, he's keen to get it done for Australia. I'd love to see Volk get it done, to be honest. That's something that I'm looking forward to. Well, I'm hoping to wake up to a picture of Volk holding the two championship belts. The champion has a name, Alexander Volkanovski.
I would love that more than anything in the world. I really, really would. And I know I sound like such a fanboy, but it'd be amazing. But overall, I'm incredibly excited for this fight. And this is all just a what if. But if Volk can pull it off, I think it will be amazing. But I do think that's all we've got time for. Thank you for watching. If you can like, comment, subscribe, it really does help us out.